disabled, and if she was put on such heavy medication to keep her sedated so that she couldn't act it out in reality with those delusions, she would have been put into the almost catatonic like state that we saw her in. And for a lot of medical cases, the theory that provided us in Buffy that of the insanity level and the way that, you know, she couldn't cope with reality, so she chose her delusions over it, and how she wasn't able to be treated is very real in actual real life scenarios. Who's to say that the story isn't real? The story could be real, but Alice can only gather the strength in Wonderland to deal with the conflict, not in reality. In reality, she's just in a bed as a failure, right? It's all a matter of speculation. There is evidence supporting both. It's just a matter of which story you personally like better at that point, or which one you personally feel like is the actual story. And I feel like there might have some parts to do with if you've played the first game or not, might have some influence on it as well. But it's all very interesting to kind of speculate and kind of try and figure out exactly what had happened. All very fun to kind of think about. But maybe I'm biased. Maybe it's because, um, well, quite a while ago, I think I was in middle school, I found out that my mother was actually adopted. And at that point, I wanted to find out, you know, um, more about my biological grandmother and grandfather on her side. Um, just, I guess, partly for curiosity, partly for like medical knowledge. And I found out that my biological grandmother is actually a paranoid schizophrenic. So I started doing a lot of very extensive research, basically nonstop throughout middle school and high school and college. Um, after leaving college, I haven't kept up on my studies as much as I used to, but I did a lot of very extensive research on schizophrenia and the different forms of it, the different cases of it, the different treatments of it. And maybe it's because of how much I know about schizophrenia that I can see the Buffy was crazy or the Alice is still in the asylum theories and see them as, you know, actual theories and not just complete and utter nonsense, because I know that in reality, this is something that actually happens. So why would it be so crazy and extraordinary for it to be untrue in a fantasy realm if this is something that is true and happens or has happened in reality? Um, it's interesting because there are three distinct worlds in the game: one pure wonderland, one pure reality, and one the blending of the two. Actually, ever since the beginning, there were signs of Wonderland in London, and there were signs of London in Wonderland. Like in the beginning when the kids were playing with the dollhouse, right at the very beginning, that is the exact same dollhouse setup that we see in Wonderland. And like the fish that we fought in Wonderland, we actually see those fish frozen and encased at the Mangled Mermaid in actual London. There's quite a bit of blending of the two, from the very beginning, actually. It's just they aren't able to coexist peacefully until Alice um, finds her own closure. if that makes sense. And it was much more subtle throughout. But once she was comfortable with both of them, the two of them were able to merge more obviously. And there were drawings in the orphanage that are in Wonderland too. But those were drawings that Alice did, because that was in Alice's bedroom. So those drawings do make sense. That wasn't a blending of the two of them. Sure, they pull elements from each other, and they mostly don't coexist, except for the asylum scenes, I thought. Right. It is more subtle and in most cases obvious. Like they were not blended well together. They clashed until Alice no longer felt that they were clashing because they were able to coexist. If that makes sense. Holy damn, this is a lot of credits. Shut the hell up, Beppo. I'm not taking any of that right now. I know you're just trying to make yourself feel better right now because you probably don't feel the greatest about the game at the moment, but this isn't an okay coping mechanism, Ebo. I feel like you should just forget the whole game. That would be a much better coping mechanism than what you're doing right now. You're not my therapist. I'm your doctor. But I'm not already being gross, so plus side there. I went to go have a tea party with the Mad Hatter. Ebo has been driven to insanity because of this game. Alright, I'm actually going to close out of the credits because this is taking quite a bit longer than I thought. I did get all of them in Chapter 5. So there we have Alice and her madness. The dollhouse above the train. Alice navigating through the dollhouse. Dr. Bumby and his children. The infernal train. Children. Inside of the train. Inside the dollhouse. And that's the beginning. Something pretty cool though, just because I feel like the game wants you to play it a second time, knowing what you know and able to see all of the foreshadowing. They actually have like the story mode, which is what we did with the dresses, where the domain changes how the dresses look. But those were some slow-moving credits for sure. Yes. Show the special dresses to actor pics. I am doing that right now. So what is really the infernal train, if not the idea that she was going to kill him? The train is her creation to basically, like Ebo said, it's like her train of thought. It's her consciousness saying that this is not right, this is not what it's supposed to be. So it was destroying everything. And Bumby was using that in order to destroy not just simply the lies that he was feeding her, but the memories that he wanted destroyed in the first place. So it was Alice's creation saying that this wasn't right, and trying to destroy the falseness that she was being fed, but Bumby using that train in order to destroy everything else as well. Ha, I knew the obvious train of thought pun was right. Shut up. Alright, but our dresses actually do different things. So the classic dress regains health while shrunk. So you don't, it's basically you have the power of the shrinking flower anytime you shrink. Why isn't it clicking? Okay, there it is. Breakables drop more teeth and roses for the steampunk dress, which I feel like is kind of just simply because you have plenty of teeth and roses as it is. The siren dress, enemies drop twice as many roses. Again, The silk maiden, enemies drop twice as many teeth. Again, The royal suit, health is limited to 4 roses total. And this would be convenient if you want to utilize Hysteria mode a lot more, because you'll be able to trigger that much more easily. Misstitched, the shrink sense duration is doubled, so it takes a lot longer for some of those platforms to disappear, so you can see things much more easily. And then actually, it doesn't look like I have it enabled right now. So I'm actually going to quit the game very momentarily. Look at one of my files and then show you other dresses that you're able to get. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. Escape, escape. Damn it. Oh, but I might not be able to anymore because fuck you, Origin. Let me see real quick. It might still let me. Origin. You can never silence me while royal suit hard mode on the the alternate dresses. Origin is a pile of steaming crap and I hate it. Yes, I am definitely not happy that Alice has just completely transferred over to Origin now. It makes this very irritating, in my opinion. But yes, there are even more alternate dresses. And I'll actually adjust this momentarily. Dear Lord. There you are. Okay, so oh god, it's been so long since I did this. So there on the Xbox 360, they actually had DLC dresses that were